Hello everybody, Steven here with Cardboard Coalition. And today I figured I would bring you a review of Rock Manor Games, at a glance at the box for a second again, Rock Manor Games Set a Watch Swords of the Coin, which is the second version of their game Set a Watch, which we have over here. And the reason I have both of them out is because I'm going to kind of dabble with the first one. I got them both together, but I had played the first one with a friend before. So the review's mainly for the second version, which is Swords of the Coin, and the expansion, which deals with both of them. I did write notes this time, so hopefully I'll stay on script and make this video fairly quick and fairly understandable. All right. So Set a Watch, if you're either looking at the original game or you're looking at over here where we have the second version of it, right, is a 2 to 4 player game that takes 60 minutes plus, right, and it's for ages 10 plus. This game, in either of them, you're just different groups, is you're traveling around a realm, and it's after the main battle, if you're into RPGs and all that kind of stuff, the big fight, the big dungeon crawl, and you're just moving. You're trying to get to the next spot. So you have to set a watch. So you have to have someone man the fire while other people defend because creatures are going to come because this is a dangerous area. And the mechanics of this game are dice rolling and mediation with cards and stuff. Dice mediation with cards because you have certain cards with your character. Right? That's the general thing you do. You roll some dice, you set them up, you can use them for direct attack, use cards to kind of change them. Monsters come at you, you want to keep the fire lit, that kind of stuff. That happens with both these. But let's go ahead and jump in. So the reason I got I went all in on the Kickstarter for the Swords of the Coin version of Set a Watch, and all in, which came with the original, and they're both the deluxe versions, is because I had played the original. Well, let's roll back. Actually, I just looked at videos and thought it was really cool. Luckily, I played the original probably 3-4 months before I actually got my all-in Kickstarter package, and I really liked it. So I was like, yes, I can't wait to get this game here. Now, let's go into the review of these games. Overall, and this means for both of them, it feels difficult, though. I played it the first time. I think we lost 1-1-1. That was with a friend's copy of the original Set a Watch. And then I played games by myself and I got beat and I couldn't win. And then finally I won. Then I went and played again with some friends, and one of the people were one of the people who played with me the first time, and then we won it again, right? And they kind of scoffed, like, it's not that difficult. But it's interesting. I feel like it kind of is, but it's trying to solve that puzzle. What dice do you use to do direct damage to monsters? Which ones of your abilities do you want to use? Who to set it watch at what time? How to use the abilities. You use dice to activate them, exhaust the ability to activate it. It sets up this puzzle that even though I was losing the game, I kept going back and I wanted to play it again. And I wanted to play it again and I lost. And I wanted to play it again. And I thought, okay, when I won the first time, I actually went back. I was playing this one, then I went back to the original and I won. I was like, I wonder if that means I'm kind of done playing, but it wasn't. I wanted to play again. So I started jumping back between the two of them. And then I started throwing the expansion, the Outriders expansion in. So overall, the game is fun. You have to want to sit there and do that puzzle. It says an hour. I feel like the games normally take me an hour and a half. But there's a puzzle. When you're playing by yourself, you have to pay attention to a lot of people, and there's things that you can swap in and swap out at certain times based on things that are going on in the game. So you have to kind of pay attention to what you can and can't do. So there's a puzzle, and like I said with the dice, there's a puzzle, right? And maybe some of it is me not being as good at the game. I realize the more I'm playing the game, the better I'm getting at it, and I want it more often. Now, granted, maybe there were some mistakes made, and that's why I won. But I want it more often now. But it's still a puzzle you have to sit down and play. And I think it's an easier puzzle when there's multiple people looking at it as opposed to just you looking at it, because you have to play 4 characters no matter what. So you always have to do that. But with more brains looking at it, the easier it becomes. All right, now let's dig into Swords of the Coin and then the Outriders expansion. So Swords of the Coin, I kind of broke this down into pros and general thoughts and then negatives. So it should have been positive. I think I switched it and put an R in at one point. So positives, general, and then negatives. And I'll do that for both Sword of Coin, Set of Watch, and then I'll do a general at the end over both of them. So let's go ahead and dive in. So for Set of Watch, Sword of Coin, Swords, I keep doing that, Swords of the Coin, one of the pros I put in is there's new puzzles. So with the original one, you have characters, and each character has their own puzzle, trying to decide what abilities work best and when you want to use them and when you want to swap them out. There's a bit of a puzzle there. What direct dice you want to use as opposed to assigning them to, we'll just call them your abilities. I think it is your abilities, or exhausting that ability to use it, which is kind of your health too. It's really interesting. The Swords of the Coin brings you new puzzles, and not just with the dice and the abilities. So in Swords of the Coin, you have a witch that has an extra card that's a familiar that it plays with. You have a monk that can bump up their dice when they meditate back at camp. You have the barbarian who cannot use their dice to make an ability happen, to get an effect from an ability. You have to exhaust that ability. It just kind of switches the puzzle up a little bit there. Then you have the Artificer. I'm probably saying it wrong. You guys are probably all laughing at me. That's fine. The Artificer, he's got a staff, right? And the staff is this whole different counter, and there's ways to put charges on the staff, and you can use the staff to attack things. And so it changes the puzzle, not just with the players and different abilities and cards. Now, with the first one, you have the Beast Rider that can collect up beasts and use beasts. Well, with this one, you have the Hunter that can collect up a certain amount. Beast Rider had 2 beasts, and the Hunter, you can have 3 just creatures and have them and use them in different ways. Direct attack like the Beast Master, or in different ways. And I won't get into all that because you can read into the rules and stuff. So Swords of the Coin brings new puzzles with new characters, right? The other thing that Swords of the Coin do is does is it brings in an extra phase. So this game goes like this. You have your you have your camp phase. This is the original one. You have camp phase, you have your watch phase, and you kind of do, it's like this weird kind of cleanup, flip a new location card, roll your dice, then you go back into camp phase, watch phase. Well, with Swords of the Coin, you go that first phase, the roll the dice, set up the location and what you need to do. And then you go into camp phase. After camp phase, you have the merchant phase. And in the merchant phase, by doing things in the camp, you get coins that you can spend on extra items that you can use. Some are passive, which means they happen all the time. Some are active, which means you have to put a die on there or exhaust it to activate. Some are discard. No, I think there's an exhaust. I think you can't put dice on there. There's an exhaust. There's 4 things, and the 4th one is slipping my mind. I think that's exhaust. It's passive, activate by putting a coin on it. There's ones that you exhaust by flipping them over, and then there's ones that you discard. Right, so this one brings in some more mechanics to kind of deal with, some more ideas that you can work with, which is cool. It's kind of in the general area. And like I already said, with the more puzzles is more characters. There's 6 characters in this one, 8 total with the deluxe version. Base is 6, 8 total with the deluxe. I think this one has 4 with the base. Don't quote me on that, and 6 with the deluxe, but there's 6 in this version. They're both deluxe on both these. So if you have this one, you're getting more characters. If you don't have this one, you just want to buy Swords of the Coin, Set of Watch Swords of the Coin. I think it's probably $34, $35, somewhere right there. I think it's worth it. I'll get back into that, I guess, later on. But you can go with that one, and you have 6 characters. 6 characters, and I think 8, but don't quote me on that. All right. And I just played them too, and I can't remember the character count, but more characters. Set of Watch Swords of the Coin brings you more characters, which means more puzzles. All right. So some of the I don't know if I like negatives, but some of the gripes, let's say gripes. So I'm like an old, grumpy, griping old man, right? Some of the gripes I kind of have with it is the rule book can be cleaner. And I say that as someone who deals with technical writing. I used to, I don't deal with this as much anymore, but worked in the area of technical writing. There's some things you could do to clear it up. I'm not saying I'm an expert, But Rock Manor Games, if you want to reach out, if you, for whatever reason, happen to see this video, which all right. But if you wanted to, I would be happy to help out and look over, because there's some easy ways to make the understanding better, make what you're saying clearer without having your players having to read it a few times to make sure they're doing it right. And I found in setup, I would keep going back just to make sure I was doing it right. There's an easy way where someone can glance at the page, see what they need to do, and do it. You guys do it pretty good on the back with turn phases and stuff. You just kind of need to work that into the rules. So a cleaner rule book. This is kind of generally both of them. They're both the same. This adds the watch phase and some extra stuff. And the other thing, and this is a complaint I guess about the deluxe versions, is there's 2 extra characters. I think there's only 1 extra character with Set a Watch now I think about it, but there's not enough dice. If you want to use all, like this one has 6-sided, 8-sided, the original version. If you wanted to play 4 characters with 6-sided dice, because there are 4 in here with 6-sided dice, you don't have enough dice. You have 3 sets of 6-sided dice, right? Each character gets 3 dice. Or if there's 4 characters that use 8-sided dice, but there's only 3 8-sided dice in here. I believe on this one, it's just 1 extra. I'd have to go back and look. There might be 2, but there's not enough dice to play all of 1 character. You would have to pick and choose or bring dice from somewhere else to play with those characters. It's not a huge negative or gripe. It's not a huge gripe, but I just kind of wish there were. Now I'm thinking I need to go out and find dice that I like to add to the sets. If you get both of them and combine them together, you probably have enough dice no matter what. All right, so that is basically the Set a Watch. Let's look at the expansion, right? Swords of the Coin and the original Set a Watch. Let's look at the expansion here. And so the expansion, Set a Watch Outriders, brings you, I can't remember how many cards, I probably glanced 34 cards. It has 6 new unhollowed, which are like stronger monsters that kind of get mixed in. And then, do math, Steven, 28, is it really 28? Yeah, 28 monster cards, other cards, the regular monsters, the creature cards. And it gives you some interesting things. So let's go ahead and talk about this. So pros, this adds a lot of replayability, right? If you are someone who has Set a Watch and you didn't pick up Set a Watch Sword of Coins, you can go out and get this expansion pack. I think I glanced and saw it a couple times at about $9 online. I don't think any of this was Kickstarter exclusive. You can get some of these deluxe ones after, but these are the basic retail version, so I kind of set the box, plus it looks kind of fun. But you can get this at retail too. Now, it's about $9, right, for it, and I guess I'll talk about the cost later. So the pros is it brings replayability, right? So some of the general ideas that I'd want to say about it is I feel like it makes the original a bit more difficult, which could be nice for people. It definitely changes it up, but it makes it a little more difficult. It's just my opinion in playing with it. The other general is there's a good amount of reveal effects. So some cards, when you flip them over, there's a reveal effect. And I found with this, because I put this into both games, played both of them a couple times with this in there, this expansion in there, is there are dragons that pop up and they attack you. As soon as they're revealed, they get your fire. They don't have to be in first place, they get your fire. There's some guys in here that do things in second place, which is kind of fun or difficult, however you want to look at it. So if you don't have that fire burning where you could see 3 out, they might kind of affect you a bit. And there's, I believe, it might even be a whole new class. I could be wrong, so don't mark me on that. But demons, and it's a trickster demon. And it comes out and it causes you to exhaust one ability no matter what. Every hero on watch has to exhaust an ability. And then they may unexhaust another ability. So I've ran into a couple times where I'm working really hard to make sure all my heroes don't have exhausted abilities, and then the trickster comes out, and then I have to exhaust an ability, and I can't, right? I may re-exhaust a different ability. So you can't exhaust an ability and then unexhaust that ability, right? So you would have to unexhaust an already exhausted ability, which gives some difficulty problems that you have to deal with while you're playing. And then the fire one's kind of interesting because you're really constantly on the fire with this. All right. And then the one gripe I have about it is, even though there's a blurb on the back, and I know you guys can't see, there's just a short blurb on the back, what the writers do, it does not, and this is a copy that came out, was printed with this, I'm assuming, it does not say anything in this book about the Beast Riders and the Dragon Riders, because you have two different kinds of riders. And so basically what they do is they add to an animal, a beast for a beast rider, a beast next to him, or a dragon that's next to him, and they double that value. They stay as the rider's type of card, so either a goblin or a human, but it doubles their power. It might slide someone else into a position where they reveal, giving you more problems, things like that. On the dragon, the beast rider, it's if they're revealed in the dragon, once you flip it, it reveals ones on the other side. I feel like they could either clean up what they're saying and put it on each individual card. They could put a card in the pack that just says the rules really quick, just a card, throw it in there. I don't know the cost, and I'm pretty sure this is made for mass consumption, but you could have put something maybe here on the back, a quick blurb explaining what the cards did. Because at one point I put them in, I was like, ooh, what do I do? I was actually using this one. I wanted to make sure I had the rules right. So this one, I was actually using the original set of watch. I had to open up this box, take the sleeve out, get the book out. I know, it's like the Snuggie commercial. Have you ever tried to answer a phone with a blanket on? I can't find my hands, right? It's not all that difficult, but this is an expansion and it's lauded as workable with either. So I think you should have the ability to understand the rules easily and clearly for either version, or they just come with it. So that would be one of my great gripes about it. So now let's jump back and I'll try to go really quick through my normal review. Price. I think either of these, the person who had this deluxe, I think they paid $35 anyways with the deluxe. They found it at a local store here that tends to get a lot of Kickstarter has games and Kickstarter games and everything. But they got a deluxe and I believe they paid around $35. And I paid 35, I think I paid 35 and 25, and then I can't remember, I think it was 75 for all of it. And then this mat was extra that I ordered. For the cost of the games, I think it's worth it. I think it's fun. It's even by itself, one of these versions, the original or Swords of Coin for $35, you're getting a lot of play out of it. The ones that aren't the deluxe version, I believe they might be less. They might be like $5, $10. I think like $10 less. They don't get the fancy slip. They don't have some of the Kickstarter. The deluxe ones have everything that you would have gotten from the Kickstarter. So a couple extra beasts, a couple extra heroes. But that's it. I mean, Kickstarter normal, right? So I think it might be 25. And definitely at that, you still got a lot of replayability. And then this, like I said, it's probably $8 or $9. For the cards you get and everything, it adds replayability. I think the value is there. The amount of players, 1 to 4. I like larger groups, but I do find this fun enough to play. And now that I'm getting more groups I can play with, I have groups that I can go play this with. Plus, once Resvon gets here, when she can sit down, look at the cards and read, it's going to be a lot of fun to work through this with her. Now, the mechanics, obviously, like there's cards and there's dice involved, like all that kind of stuff. Replayability, even the normal set, the replayability is there because you have more creature cards and more unhollowed, those more powerful creatures than you're going to use. You have more location cards than you're going to use in one play. One play, you go through 8 locations in a final, so 9 locations total. And then you have a whole stack of locations with respite locations thrown. They're just better location kind of things that happen. So the replayability is definitely there. And plus the roll of the dice and figure out which abilities you want on or when to move them and things like that definitely gives you that replayability. Now for both of them, would I play it again? Yes. I had ordered it, played it once, I think twice in the same night, and I wanted to play it again. Couldn't wait till my copy got here. Once I got the copy, I've played it a whole bunch of times. I'm trying to track how games that I play, but I'm really bad at it. But I've played it a whole bunch of times, and now both versions I've played a bunch of times. They keep jumping back and forth and adding expansion and see what happens and stuff like that. So I definitely play it again, and I would ask people to play it again. I actually just asked a friend if I can bring it for a game night that's coming up, and the response was yes. And we'll see, because there's another person there and we don't know how much they would be into this style game, but we'll see. So yes, I would ask to play it again. The one last thing, I just thought about this, it's slightly a negative. It's if you got your hands on this mat, and maybe this is just talking to old Stone Manor Games, probably not listening to my video anyways. The mat is just a little too wide. Let's see if I can set it up here. It's a little too wide to go into one of the boxes. The mat's kind of cool. I don't need a super spongy mat. It's kind of fun. It has the skulls where you can put everybody down, but it's slightly bigger. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm not good at measurement, but at least a millimeter or two wider on both sides, which means I can't just fold it up and put it in one of the boxes, right? I could like fold it in half and fold it, and put it in the box, and it's gonna crease up really bad. As you can see, there's creases in it anyways, just from being folded normally. So I kind of wish that this mat was sized for this. And at that point, I mean, the cost would be to put this out further so you have more spots, would probably cost more. So I'm okay with it like it is right there, just a little thinner, right? Would have been nice. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. Overall, I kind of have fun having the mat out. I enjoy it. I'm okay with what I paid for it, and I can't remember what it was. It wasn't much. It's why I got it. So that's my review. A little bit of rambling probably of Set a Watch, Swords of the Coin, and Set a Watch the Outriders expansion. Overall, like the game, enjoy the game. I think there are some things that can be improved in the game, but as of right, even talking about it, I want to sit down and play it again. So I hope you guys enjoyed. My name's Steven with Cardboard Coalition. See you later, everybody. Bye.